The ISMF World Cup returned to action in Madonna di Campiglio for the grand finale of the season, the last stage of the tour and the last races of the sprint and individual disciplines. The events took place on the famous Canalone Miramonti, used for the alpine ski races. With just one race carried out all season in the sprint discipline, the cup standings coming into the race in Madonna di Campiglio were very close, but no globe would be handed out at the end of the race as not enough events were held. The only event in World Cup that had taken place so far was the very first weekend of the season, held in China. From there, Niccolò Canclini had come away with a surprise victory and 100 points. Drawn on a track that was 600 metres in length and with a height difference of 95 metres, this was most definitely one of the most testing sprint races the athletes had experienced. Michele Boscacci was in unstoppable form and stormed to victory over teammate Nadir Magué. The ladies also took to the same slope, the Canalone Miramonti, for their sprint race. Coming into the second and final race of the World Cup season, the clear favourite was the sprint champion for the last 3 years, Letitia Ru, winner of the first race in China. The competition was tough, but as she has shown over the last few years, Ru is in a class of her own when it comes to this discipline, and in Madonna di Campiglio it was no different. Blasting clear of everyone else at the start line, the 32-year-old powered her way up the slope, up the grinding steps that proved so exhausting also for the men. Crossing the line with a time of 3 minutes 38 seconds, Ru claimed her second victory of the season, but it resulted in no globe also for her. The curtain came down on the World Cup season on the Sunday, with the last individual race of the winter, 10 years after the final ski mountaineering races were held in Madonna di Campiglio. This was the 44th edition of the ski out race Dolomiti in Brenta, and the course was 18 kilometres in length, rising to 2,900 metres above the beautiful Italian mountains, with a vertical drop of 1,800 metres. The Italian Robert Antonioli had a healthy lead of 60 points coming into the home straight, ahead of fellow Italian Michele Boscacci. Notoriously quick at the changeovers and in the downhill sections, Antonioli bided his time and waited for the right moment to make his move, claiming the coveted individual Crystal Globe. The ladies' individual race was slightly shorter than the men's event and took place over 1,500 metres of a vertical drop, but it was no less spectacular. The individual globe was still on the line, a battle between Molleret and teammate Letitia Ru. It was Ru who once again got off to the best start and kept a small advantage going up the mountain. And halfway through the race, Molleret was not sure if a second place was going to be enough. However, there was no catching Ru out in front. The result left Ru and Molleret on the same amount of points in the individual standings, but Molleret was handed the globe because of a higher time point difference. Michele Boscacci had already wrapped up the overall standings after his sprint race. Antonioli finished in second place. Axel Molleret was crowned winner of the overall standings for the first time in her career, having watched Drew sit on the throne for the last 6 seasons.